Hello everyone, and welcome back to D&D with WhatTeamComp. I am your host of Cormundum Chaos, the Uncommon Guru, our chaotic DM. Back again with Zarkwarts, playing Aurelius, the human paladin fighter.
Yeah, I'm a space cowboy this week.
Mary, who is playing as Genevieve, aka... currently is playing as Vanity, as Genevieve Fidget is currently taking a nap.
Mary, formerly known as Fidget, currently known as Vanity.
Correct.
I go by other names.
who is currently playing a tiefling bard.
That is correct, yes.
Paris, who's playing Serenity, the Azmar barbarian.
Yay!
And Kendall, who's playing as Artemis, the half-elf artificer wizard.
Hello.
And we're here, once again, back at it again in Dragonsby, where a number of things have happened, ranging from arriving, discovering that there are some paladins in the area, to a fog rolling through the city and one of the players being currently rendered unconscious, mostly due to their patron's actions in sprinting before they could walk. But even despite that, the party has continued to move and try and take care of what they could while still in the town, including, but not limited to, speaking with the town's protector, a dragon, who is asked for their assistance while they protect the town to see if they can find an old hole in the ground wherein they think the source of this is coming from. You will be given this, by the way, as part of something I don't think I explicitly stated last session, but Lerlanus is going to have that handed to you to utilize and hopefully be able to make use of whereabouts in the nearby forest these cultists appear to have been coming from. And with a little bit of help to oversee you all is the current edition of Vanity.
He got along swimmingly with Aurelius.
That's
We're the best of friends.
It's always good when you immediately hit it off with your new allies.
I have a tiefling of similar size, which is baffling, hanging off my arm.
Just very tall. It works.
Not right. It is odd.
It
Also,
makes it much more interesting when I am able to look you in the eye.
Yeah. Come here. Where's my spray bottle for you? I got one for every person in this chat.
Anyways, you were saying. Sorry, go.
You're good. Is there any last-minute provisions or such that you wish to attempt to accumulate before heading out?
Did Artie get jars from Montessa?
I got jars.
You got jars.
I got the jars.
Aurelius got the map, and Vanity and Serenity got provisions for their travel.
Good. In which case, the next bit would be heading out into the forest.
So Zark, is Aurelius the one reading the map while we go?
Let me check his stats real quick. What would this be? Would this be survival?
Effectively.
Yeah, I can do that. I just need to actually be in the roll 20.
I've somehow already forgotten Serenity's fucking proficiencies. God help me.
It's okay. I I exist as well sometimes.
Ah!
Alright, I'll roll that.
Can I offer assistance?
You may. 13's still not bad.
Schwiggity schwoody, roll again.
Oh, okay.
What are we doing?
Reading a map.
He's reading the map.
Oh,
Also, if you're rattling in the background, I'm sorry, I'm fucking around with my markers.
I cannot hear anything.
Yay!
You're good.
Yes.
There's not a single thought behind my eyes.
I'll be right back. I have to go do a thing. I'll be
No
right
worries.
back.
You got a lot of stuff you've been doing. Understandable. So with the 21, you are able to make it through. And at one point, like, Serenity is like, is that upside down? You're like, no. When you look at it, you turn it upside down, turn it back up. No, it wasn't upside down to begin with. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Just little banter stuff.
Just over Aurelius's shoulder, the purple tiefling kind of looks down at the map going, "Are you too good? Yes?"
I'm pretty sure we're okay.
And you, brooding man,
Hmm?
are you okay?
I'm just focused.
Understood. And just as quickly as the head had come between you two, it just leaves and follows along behind you guys.
A lot of the area you're currently in is brush and forest, but the two of you who've been in here before, being Serenity and Serenity. I was about to call it Serenity and Aurelius. Yeah, I was about to call Serenity Raila, and I was about to kick myself in the teeth. So I had to.
A bit funny.
I was trying not to, do that. I was like, no, stop it. The plants feel like they are letting you through more easily. Like, there's not, like, as many brush or bramble snags as you were having. It is a lot more just walking through and being able to do so for the most part without much issue at all. Which is interesting considering the fact that when you were first here, there was quite a bit of welcome back, problems, resistance, and so forth. And now as you're kind of just feeling like, okay, this is actually easy, you're getting a slight feel of just how much control was being exerted by Lerilanus, even from where they were. And even from where they currently are. As this area is their territory, it is in their domain. And you have been given permission to enter. That's such a strange and almost novel idea. To feel like you're able to move through this forest freely, but in a way where the freedom is not only real and noticeable, but allows you to utilize this to go faster, to get where you need to with less issue. For Vanity and Artemis, it feels like, despite a lot of having traveled through such areas, this forest is really quite tame. It's really quite nice. It's kind of peaceful. Granted,
Ooh.
it is a place where cultists have been causing problems and such. But even so, like, you would be willing to almost take some time to just either spend here or to just relax. This place is beautiful, and you can see why Lerilanus and others chose this place as a natural beauty that is interesting. Although I will say, as you two are kind of looking around, you both can make a nature check.
Okay.
Okie dokie. I just realized I've had the theme of characters that just want to go and hide in the woods.
You really do have that, don't you? Ooh, 17. Nice. And 21. Good. Between the two of you, as you're looking around, you note that there's a number of points where there are like crystal outcrops and things that make it very clear that something has been growing here. At first, it's nothing like too major, but you both recognize that these crystals have bits to them that look like they're a little out of place. One group of them looks to have like protrusions and such that seem to almost be like they are actively pulsing with magic. But there are a few other ones which, as you kind of look at them, you realize they are... There's like some residue of something that is growing off of them.
Are there any strings coming off of them?
The ones that have the more magic faint glow to them do have some strings that are woven into them. Almost seem to be like going out and then being pulled back in, almost like watching a current kind of going out and back in. The current or the tide.
Artemis is going to take a couple steps closer but not touch it and just kind of get a better gauge on it.
Okay. By stepping a little bit closer, you also will note that the residue that looks like it's left behind looks to have been made from some kind of plant material. And as you kind of look it over a little bit, you would guess, based off the look of it, that it looks to be almost fungal in nature.
A fungus that eats magic.
You haven't heard of anything
That's weird.
quite like that before. Yeah, that is very
That's
strange.
interesting.
Yeah. And those crystals that have the fungal growths on them do appear to have less strings and such. In fact, most of them look like they have either less or none at all.
Does it look parasitic?
It does.
Okay, can she get a sample off of it?
Without really much issue at all. It doesn't seem to be activated or aggressive towards any kind of physical contact that you bring to it. So you're able to just scrape and put it into like a little vial you've got in your pouch.
Okay. She kind of looks over at Vanity when she notices that they're also looking at it. She's like, "This is very interesting. I've never seen a parasitical fungus that feeds off of magic."
This is new to me as well, but it is fascinating.
Would you like a sample too?
I think I will trust the one who has those abilities a bit more than I do with the sample.
Alright. And she'll tuck her sample away.
But I have a question for you. Do you see the weaves?
Are you talking about the strings?
Yes.
Yes.
They're fascinating, aren't they?
Yes, they are. I didn't see them till recently.
I more feel them than see them.
Ah. Do you see them like... How do you see them? Like, what are they comparable to for you?
You know when the wind blows in a certain direction and there is that instinct that you're supposed to go that way?
Yes.
That is what the strings are like. I have the pull inside of me to do a certain thing.
Ah. That makes sense.
I mean, it comes with what I am, that I can get away with being a little more out there with showing my abilities. But sometimes bending the rules is not a bad idea either.
Hmm. Yes, well, bend them where you can. After all, what's the point of knowing rules if you don't know where the loopholes are?
Yeah, that is all of my education, is to know the rules, to know where I can break them. I'll be honest, when I picked this career, I thought it would be more on the performance side of things, not so much the logistical.
Ah, my condolences.
It comes with the territory, and it has gotten me as high as I am now, you know. So I can't complain too much.
Hmm.
It lets me get away with doing a little bit more. And when he says that, he kind of like is waving his hands around, and you watch as a very faint purple hand appears in front of him before it moves over next to Aurelius and just flips at his cloak a little bit before dissipating.
Ah.
Aurelia seems unconcerned. Man is focused.
Yeah, Vanity just kind of laughs, going, "He's a good guy." You can tell a lot about a person when you first meet them, and the fact that he could go toe to toe with me, he's a good person. You all are. In your
Well,
own way.
eh, we can be good people. I think what matters is that we're trying to be good people.
Now that
Kind
is
of
the
shrugs.
more important thing, actually. Instead of the people who boast about, I am the glorious, wonderful person, and they are actually a pile of shit. And then there are the ones who are just trying to help and do better in the world, and those are the actual good people.
We can agree on that. She will smile. And she'll start looking at the outgrowths of the crystals again. And trying to observe if she peels off enough of the fungus, if the strings will return. Or if they are permanently gone.
Huh?
Sorry, say again?
She was looking to see if the strings are gone.
If the strings will come back if she peels off the fungus.
After a little bit of time, just because you are walking away, the strings, there's like a faint thin one, you would guess it'll probably take more time to grow back or to reassert themselves, but it does look like removing them does bring back some of that energy that was lost by the removal of these things.
Does the presence of this fungus, as they continue going on, does it get any heavier or lighter, or?
It appears to be getting heavier.
Oh. Huh. It appears something is producing a mass amount of fungus that eats magic in this direction.
That feels like something that we should be worried about. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I am very worried about it, but I'm also incredibly curious as to what to make it.
Well, best thing to do is to move forward so we can actually find, hopefully, the source.
Yes, of course. And she'll continue on.
And he'll follow after her.
Alright. After following the map a bit further in, you come to a point when you're like, okay, this is close. And you start looking around and realize that this part of the map, while it is about as accurate as you would imagine it to be, it's about as much as you would imagine it to be, which means that you could be anywhere from a few 100 feet to a kilometer away from where you are, which means this is the point where you start searching the area.
Okay. Gonna start looking around.
And Vanity will do the same.
Okay. In which case, both of you make investigation checks.
Investigation.
Bless
Bless
you.
you.
Thank you. Sorry.
Sorry, that was cute.
– 15 and 20. Okay. After a bit of time, kind of slowly moving through the area, just like, okay, it's somewhere around about this-ish area. What are the other two doing? It's just watching them like, they'll figure it out.
I mean, Serenity's probably going to assist one of them. I'm not sure which one. Cause... Oh wait, Serenity has proficiency in investigation. I'm stupid as fuck.
You're not stupid. How dare you insult my friend?
I can feel the tapping from here.
I'll get the newspaper.
The bonk stick.
The bonk stick.
Oh, Serenity will probably investigate as well, because if they've stopped at this point, then she has nothing else to do.
You can roll.
Other than serve as a meat shield.
What about you, Aurelius?
Why did that roll to GM?
He'll stop and look back, but he won't follow with them. He'll stay where he is and just observe.
Okay. Serenity got a 19.
I rolled to GM.
I don't know. I might have had you been doing secret stuff. So the first thing, Artemis, as you're going over and around a few things, you get to like this little like incline where you kind of go down a bit, and as you're looking around, you like reach your hand out to like steady yourself, and your hand brushes against stone, and for a moment that's not out of place, but as you like it slides against it to keep yourself, stabilized, there's a groove in it that kind of catches your attention. As you kind of pause where you're going to look at it, you realize that this tree that you were going around, and this stone bit, the stone bit is unnatural to this area. It looks like it was placed here. It looks like it was a number of stones, and the tree simply has grown over it in a way. Almost like it's a piece of some kind of structure. Serenity, as you're going around, you find another similar bit of stones. This grouping of stone very more distinctly having a man-made construction to it, whereas Artemis's has the tree growth and weathering that has worn it down to be less discernible. You find a far more discernible group of that, and as you start looking around, you both kind of look around. You realize this stoneworking is scattered across this as Vanity follows the steps and kind of sees where you guys are looking, follows it around, and after a few moments steps onto a point where as you do step your foot down, there's a faint, very faint little cracking sound. Not like breaking of anything, but like when you step on the floor and it has that grunt of something moving atop it. You know what I mean?
I think so, yeah.
As you kind of kneel down and brush away at some of it very carefully to make sure you don't move anything of importance, you do note that there's like another more man-made construct over this, but this is a lot more suspicious. As you grab and you pull, you feel like a bit of weaving of some kind of grass covering. As you pull away, it's like almost a disguise over top of what appears to be a trap door just in the middle of this clearing.
Vanity will after brushing it away, wave the others over. I think I have found where we need to go.
Thank goodness.
Yes, I found this weird little groove over here.
So did I.
I found a door.
Ah!
Looking around, you all can kind of determine that this looks like this was the base of some kind of structure at one point, based off the context clues, but also based off the context clues, you guys aren't super close to each other. You guys are probably a good few hundred feet apart as you guys kind of pointed out and come back together. This was a large structure at one point, at least for a ground floor level thing, and it goes underground. Very strange. Very odd. But there's a trapdoor, and you guys can go down the ladder that appears to have been placed to go down.
Ladies first? Or should the men go down and protect? I don't know the dynamic of how you wish to be treated.
Those that can see in the dark. One in the front, one in the back. Those that can't, in the middle.
Those that can't, I can cast a spell to make it better, at least for you.
I can see in the dark.
Aurelius, you're in the middle.
Why am I
Artemis
always
will
in
go
the
ahead.
middle?
Because you can't see in the dark. Adapt. She starts going down the ladder.
Remember the first day I was here and I had a shield?
We can get you another. You just refuse to use it. As she's going down the ladder, is this being said, by the way.
Why would I use a shield? Actually, I do have a spear sword now. Maybe a shield isn't a bad idea.
From the darkness below, moron!
Vanity.
Artemis will be
Oh,
keeping an eye out and looking around as they're going down.
Of course.
yeah, Vanity will head down and.
Devin, my game.
So the four of you go down one after the other. And Paris, do you cast the light spell?
Yeah, I'll cast it on Aurelius. Be right back real fast. Real fast.
No worries. The immediate area is very simple. Not overly complicated, just stone walls, stone floor, with almost like an arch design. I would say that Artemis would probably have the best idea. Not going to make you roll anything for this specifically. That the reason for this arch design is that with the keystone at the top, it probably helps it to distribute any weight from any higher up levels. I mean, you're going to be probably going through a lot of curved archway tunnels to see how this progresses. Meaning that whoever was building this was thinking of this with potential future pressure and strain that might be put on top of this structure in the future in mind. The funny thing, though, is that there are beams of steel protruding from some of the wall pieces, where it looks like there was something that had been like attached to the wall and then drove a spike through parts of it. And while
So does it look like...
Good.
Sorry, go ahead.
It's meaning that the archway looks like... The archway is still there. It is doing exactly what it's supposed to. It's standing firm. But there were some other supports that the weight did hit those parts and drove, like, almost like... out of character, it's a twisted steel. Like a rebar, almost.
Interesting.
I am back.
To explain to you,
Who's
Paris,
got the hiccups?
the tunnel is an arched ceiling. Like you're going through, basically the whole thing is an archway. And from certain parts of the wall, through the stone, there are metal spikes. Think rebar pushing through stone.
Oh,
The archway is
well,
still...
isn't that just intimidating?
Yeah, the archway has stood strong over however long this is laid here, but at some point something happened and the steel was jammed through. Which would have... With dark vision, when you first looked around before you cast the light spell, it almost looked like fingers were like reaching through the walls before you had the light to illuminate and see what it actually was. It looked disconcerting, mildly disorienting, even though it's clear from the way that it looks and is structured with actual light to see it, that none of this is intentional for such, but it certainly has the desired effect.
What was it intentional for?
The intentional was for holding it up. The unintentional bit is that when it was driven through before the light spell was cast, it looked like some like fingers or little tendrily bits were just poking their way through the wall, like something like a tree or something from above ground was trying to reach out towards something until you had the light to illuminate to see that it was actually steel bar.
That's weird. She'll just continue looking around while pointing all these things out.
You have Vanity's full attention when you start pointing that stuff out.
Aurelius is just like, I mean, this would be cool if I could actually see it.
You can because of the light spell.
Yeah, my eyes haven't adjusted to it yet.
You had the light. You're like, ah, man, now I'm fucking blind. I don't have dark vision. I don't have bright light vision. What good are these human eyes of mine?
Look, normally I'd be like, all right, what can I make out? What can I see? But like realistically, and also comedically.
Comedically, you're like, I can't see shit. When your eyes do begin to adjust and you start seeing it, it's hard to imagine just how much force it takes to drive steel through stone when you think of it in terms of weaponry. In terms of tools, it's a lot easier because a weapon is made for other such purposes, but a tool made specifically for trying to split through stone, yeah, there are tools for that. But like imagining a spear piercing through stone, someone had to throw that sucker pretty hard to do that. So that's probably a lot of force, actual tons of force. You do also note one other minor detail, at least you hope it's minor. The spacing of the hallways is big enough that a larger creature would be able to walk through the hall without too much difficulty.
Are there any prints on the ground?
Looking around, there are some prints. There was.
Can I?
Can you what?
No, you continue with that. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself.
You're fine. There is clearly a layer of dust that has been on the ground, but there are a number of different footprints ranging from boot prints to what appear to be some kind of hoof prints to people walking around in bare feet.
Anything beyond the normal size of a humanoid?
At the moment, thankfully, no. You had a thought, Zark?
Would I be able to roll an athletics check just to see the absolute like strength it would require to produce such an effect with a spear?
Are you trying to actually do it, or are you trying to like calculate it?
I'm just trying to figure it out. I'm not trying to do it myself. Like, it's a calculation.
Of course. Are you proficient with athletics?
Yeah.
Roll an athletics check, but we'll be adding your intelligence modifier instead of your strength modifier. So just roll athletics and tell me the difference.
Okay, so my strength is +5.
Mm-hmm.
Not 20 anyway, but...
Yeah. Your intelligence is...
my intelligence is +2.
Okay, so 25.
Mm-hmm.
You would have to be... This type of stone isn't naturally from here. It's a very dense, strong stone. You'd say is something akin to granite. And like, you know, with the right tools, the right angles, you can cut through stone, no problem. But just to ram it through it, that would be something possibly in the realm of like an actual giant trying to ram a spear through the stone. Which means that whatever happened here, an absolute massive amount of force was pushed down, likely on this area, and crushed part of this into itself. And you have the sudden impression with the natural 20, the place you are currently going through, you entered through effectively what would have been the building's attic.
Right.
mean, however tall this thing is, you are not going to know until you keep going down, because whatever it was pushed into the ground.
We're gonna walk into a fucking cult meeting of Kalima. Kalima, I can feel it.
He's already Silent Hilled us. Of course.
I can do it again.
No, no.
Yeah. But with that revelation in mind, which I imagine you're just kind of processing that and kind of going, huh. Okay. Aurelius noise is engaged.
Just, huh. Interesting. Anyway.
Huh. That's neat. Anyways. But you all begin to walk down the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
There are offshoot rooms that are connected to this, but as you're kind of peeking in and looking around, there's desks that look like they've broken down. Most of them made out of very flimsy wood, like incredibly flimsy wood that's been like mostly turned to dust or molded over in such ways that looking into the room is just like, okay, that's not going to give me anything. If there was any kind of details that were left behind, they would have to have been placed in such a way that they wouldn't have been destroyed. And from how this place currently looks, this is not what happened. It looks like it was effectively just overgrown with time. You continue walking down the hallway. You make a turn at a certain point to start looking around. You keep close together, keep your eyes out, keep your eyes on each other. And the place gets to a point where Artemis, you probably notice it first. Vanity, what's your passive perception?
14.
14's good. Good. You'll be among the next, probably with Serenity, to notice it, and then Aurelius. If I remember my passive perceptions right, I might have forgotten. That's on me.
Let me look, just make sure.
I have a 12 passive.
Serenity's got a 15, shit.
Yep. So, about what I said. Hey, I remembered it correctly. Hey, look at me, I'm the best. But when you get to a certain area, you notice there's some stairs going down, and as you start going down the stairs, you notice the absence of smell.
That just kind of makes her stop. And look around. Does there seem to be anything like suppressing that?
Not immediately in the current area. It means it's probably something a bit deeper in.
There's no smell.
Oh wait, that my mic's not gonna pick that up. Serenity just actually sniffs the air. Huh.
That is a bit disconcerting, yes?
Very.
Yes, even empty rooms have a smell.
And especially with the age of this place.
Just empty. It must be... Something must be suppressing it from further in. Fascinating.
And Serenity just turns back to look at Artemis, and it's like the 2.5 seconds of what the fuck before it's like, this is Artemis. Registers, and she just goes back to normal.
You just get kind of confused, look back up. What? This is nothing different.
That's why it's like. That's why she only stood there for a couple seconds, where it was like,
Of course. Stepping down cautiously, you guys begin to survey the next room. The next room looks to be couple halls, adjacent rooms. Nothing immediately looks overtly different until you start to walk in a little bit further, and very directly, one of the first things that you start to slowly kind of note as something that's out of place is that there looks to be a lantern hanging from a hook on one of the near one of the doorways. Doesn't look like that was its initial intended purpose. It looks like it's there kind of awkwardly, but it's not lit with a flame, at least not one that you've ever seen before, and it almost reminds you of something. Even you, Vanity, who you've been to this place before. It's just been some time since you've been to Molten Hold.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds you vaguely of the chilling lantern, but the color's off. Instead of being like a light, cold blue, giving a chill to the area, this almost seems to be a sterile white color.
He frowns a little bit. That is not correct.
I think we might have found what's suppressing the smell.
Can I get a closer look at it?
Yeah, easy enough. You can walk right up to it.
Okay, yeah. Vanity walks right up to the flame.
Yep. It's that very sterile white, and it's like a flame almost within a... similar to the crystal that Artemis found. Like the flame is within the crystal.
Does it have that fungus on it?
This one doesn't. It looks to be like it has like a mesh around it to almost like to filter it a little bit to prevent anything from growing on it. But it looks, based off of that mesh, which is a much more stringy, more likely to have aged over time, this looks new. This looks fresh. There is a... how do I put it? Like a piece of the top where it looks like if you turn it, it'll cover the runes that are currently open to the air that are... Do you take it off the hook to look at it more closely?
I do.
You take it off, you look at... They're not glowing, but there's a faint pulse across them that seems to indicate that they are working, and you know, based off the chill lanterns, that if you turn it, you'll turn it off, at least for the time being.
Okay, everyone, cover your noses just in case. And he turns it off.
Chkunk. Who follows this instruction?
Artemis?
Serenity?
Vanity. Yeah, Vanity's already got his cloak over his nose.
Aurelius, do you cover your nose?
He'll pull the front of his cloak up over his nose. Yeah.
Serenity?
Why must you be so stupid, you little fucking angel? No.
Okay. Make a con check.
Also. Fuck, I'll use my insight. Why the fuck not? Let's go.
Your insight?
Inspiration.
Not yes!
I know what you meant. I just want to tease you.
Leave me alone.
You go to... if you don't find a covering, you will have to continue to make constitution checks, as the smell doesn't immediately wash over you, but it kind of almost seems to flood back into this area, and it is honey sickling sweetness, like a rotting corpse.
I was about to say, I'm like, that's a rotting body.
And should I turn it back on? I should turn it back on.
You just hear, yeah.
I like the thought that Aurelius for a second's just kind of like, oh, that's all too familiar.
Yeah, Vanity will turn it back on.
Turn it back on, and it pushes out the smell. You can almost see where the bit of the scent was coming from, as it had almost been pushed back in by the loss of this sterilizing lantern. But as soon as it's pushed back out, you can almost now see this bit of light coming off of Aurelius seems to show a discrepancy where his light is and where this lantern's zone is, by the faint of bit of something in the air, something wrong.
Vanity will hang back up the lantern before lowering his cloak, going, something tells me that the issue is that way, and points towards where the obvious smell had disappeared to.
You can take the lantern with you, by the way.
You know what he does? He takes the lantern and hooks it to his belt.
Wise choice. All right. So you all begin heading in the direction noted by the miasma that dissipated. And as you guys move forward, the lantern begins to kind of break it up, dissipate it just a bit more, keeping it from approaching your group, as it were. And it gets to a point as you guys are some rooms that it kind of like peels off from, like this scent is coming from those rooms. The first room, who would like to be the first to peek in?
Artemis would like to look.
So Artemis, as you kind of recognize where the scent is coming from, scuttles ahead just a bit, peeks inside.
I was gonna ask if we could like totem pole like Scooby Doo that shit.
Yeah, I just wanted to know who was first.
Absolutely, actually.
Just like, Artemis is like just the lowest part of the totem pole, just boop, and then Aurelius, and then Vanity, and then Serenity. All you just doot 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 doot. The room has a massive fungal growth that looks to have a person like spread eagle on the wall, long since drained of any notable features, any moisture and such peeled out of it, used to fuel whatever this is as it's grown around them and encased them on this wall. Almost like, you know, those massive like flower looking fungus that have the rotten smell stench to attract flies and the like?
Yes. Yes.
It's like that, but with almost more of a Venus flytrap part around like the torso area. And you can see that there are a number of like insects that are kind of flitting about, but when you guys get a little closer with the lantern, they don't scatter, they just seem to almost be a bit more confused. But there's also parts where it looks like someone took bits of that fragile, almost bent wood and put it in like either reshaped it or like just kind of haphazardly slapped it together with there's a bit of woodworking skill to it, but most of it looks to have been done in a rush, or at least in such a way where whoever did it wasn't caring so much about the product being done well so much as the product being done, to the point you can see where parts of this project have split palms that covered it with blood, as centered atop this little pedestal, this little podium, is a small, very like a very just tiny figurine of a woman. Bits of blood across it from whoever made this, likely handling it afterwards to get it just the right spot. Of a woman who looks to be almost wearing this like strange, ephemeral, otherworldly cloak that looks to be very organic, naturally made. Thing. Zark,
Yes.
you don't have to roll.
Oh.
Artemis,
Hmm.
you don't have to roll.
Oh no.
Vanity and Serenity, you can both roll. Serenity, you can roll with advantage.
Okay. What are we rolling?
Religion check.
Okay.
My profession?
Is a
I
Sorry.
am.
Sark, you know it's bad when we both recognize it.
I feel like I know who this is.
Probably.
Oh no, with the 14 Serenity might not. Out of character, I think. I'm almost certain I know who this is.
19 does succeed. A 14, you have a vague idea. The name isn't escaping you so much as the more specific details.
Didn't I roll a nat 20 with this bitch before?
Again, more of the this is a different carving of it.
Fair enough.
Artemis, you recognize the name as the Lady of Death, as the dress does still have that dress falling apart with her in it vibe.
Hmm. Okay.
Aurelius, you recognize her without question as Zuktamoy. As well as Vanity, you are able to piece together, based off the fungus and the statue, that this likely is the demon lady Zuktamoy.
Okay.
Just without any thought process. The only reason that I don't immediately suggest that we burn this place down to the ground, making sure that everything either comes crawling out screaming and on fire so we can kill it, or stays down there, is because I promise the lady I wouldn't put a stain on her reputation.
Aurelius is doing his absolute best to contain his rage.
Sure, he'll just take Aurelius's hand. Deep
Can I ask
breath,
a
love.
question?
Hmm.
What does the Lady of Death mean to Artemis?
The Lady of Death usually meant in Dunziel, story time. It's time for a history lesson. In Dunziel, the Lady of Death is effectively a death god, but also a life god. For where there is death, there is something that will live. Where there is something that lives, eventually it must either die or be put to the grave, unless they are particularly blessed in the eyes of she who is the Lady of Death. Elves in particular she has a fondness for, as they live for a very long time, which means that they can tend to her garden as need be, according to the laws and understandings of the clergy of Zuktamoy, or the Lady of Death.
What does she have a fondness for?
Elves, as they can live quite a long time, but that means that when they finally return to her, there's much energy that she replenishes when they finally return to her bosom and add to her cloak. Some even say that's why her cloak is falling apart, as others are used to replenish the cloaks of her bridesmaids to allow them to be their best. But her cloak falls apart as she waits for elves who will one day come into the fold and bathe her in their blood and skin to be wed again to the world.
Artemis starts approaching the figurine.
Audie? She looks. It's the careful expression before she just her shoulders just sag slightly. Just don't touch it, please.
I won't touch it. She continues to approach the figurine.
I will say Serenity's poised just in case she needs to snatch Artemis out of the way of something.
What can she gauge upon a closer look at it?
The statue itself is incredibly old. Older than you. Older than... Older than some of the high elves you've seen in your lifetime.
The person on the wall,
They're fresh.
are they an elf?
Make a nature check.
Oh! That one. Oh wait, I can use inspiration. I'm gonna use inspiration.
You can.
I was about to say, I'm like, run!
There we
Give her
go.
a moment.
Sorry, I always forget I have that.
You're good. Based off of the wingspan from tip of the finger to tip of the finger, this person is likely not an elf. You would say, based off the look of it, probably something closer to Genasi. Maybe just run-of-the-mill human, but the color of the skin is off. Tiefling actually also would make sense, but they're not an elf. One who is fulfilling their role to make bouquets of their innards as gifts to the bridesmaid.
Is there anything signifying the bridesmaids there?
The only thing signifying it is what remains of the skull looks to have nails driven into it, like it's meant to look like it's a wreath of something around the head, which is usually done post-mortem to prevent inaccuracy.
Okay. Are there any strings?
None specifically in this area.
Okay.
Not even around the statue.
Artemis will just murmur as she is observing all of these things. She's got her hands behind her back to reassure Serenity.
He's thankful for you.
And she'll murmur out loud, "Looks like someone was celebrating Lady Death and her bridesmaids. With a wreath of thorns, bouquet of flowers, and a statue in her honor. Very old. Older than me. Older than some on the High Elf Council. I wonder how long this altar has been here. Its body is fresh. Probably Genasi, maybe human." She kind of leans in and looks at the body a little closer. Maybe tiefling? Maybe.
And they are fresh, yes?
Yes. This
also means the
this
altar.
service.
The altar is fresh as well. The only thing not, as well as the blood on the statue, the only thing not fresh in this room is the statue.
Mm.
And the room itself, obviously. Do you wish to inspect the statue at all?
Yes.
Okay. With a quick investigation, just because of your perception, you realize very quickly this statue doesn't have any kind of weighted measure to it. The podium was too hastily constructed for anything like that. It's not trapped. It's just put here in reverence. Do you fiddle with it at all?
I am not touching it.
Making sure.
But she's looking very... Yeah, she's like bending at the waist and looking at it very closely.
Making sure whether or not Serenity was having a heart attack or not.
I mean, she's having a heart attack, but she's not having a heart attack because Artie's doing something weird.
Yeah, it's very much in the way of malicious compliance right now.
Yeah. She knew this is what was going to happen. That's why she just asked, like, don't touch it. She knew she was gonna look at it. She knew she was gonna get close to it. Just don't touch it.
You're just lucky she's not putting it in her mouth.
Oh, for the love of... First of all, there's touching it. But second of all...
Listen, Artemis said that she wouldn't touch it. She's not gonna touch it
touching
right
it with
now.
Your... I have to just pick you up and carry you out of here, aren't I?
I have Misty Step. I can get away from you.
For a bit.
That is a good spell. I do
It's
like
very
that
good.
spell.
Yeah.
I wish you could see, like, just the... I just did the boy. That's all I could do. So I just sat in silence for a second.
Yeah, Artemis will go inspect it and look it over curiously.
There is a
Does
marking
it have
on the
any
back.
magic on it?
It doesn't have no
Whoa,
magic.
what kind of marking?
The markings are numerical. As you kind of
Is it a
look
year?
over, it doesn't appear to be a year. And as you're looking it over, the markings are a little bit odd. You're not sure what the measurement system is. Something... It's the numbers are numbers. CM. At least you think that's a C. It's not super well maintained. It's not kept. And then it has a numbers underneath it again, but that one just has M. Because of your intelligence, I'll say roll an intelligence check.
Okie dokie. This one. Before what?
I was about to say, Hun, do not forget, as a bard, you can give out bardic inspiration whenever.
I was going to. My microphone was muted.
Yeah, I was worried about that. I was like,
oh!
So would you...
Does that mean I can do it again with bardic inspiration?
You can add a d8 to that roll.
Oh, yay!
Go ahead and roll the d8.
Let's see if I remember how to do this.
There's a little dice thingy on the side.
Oh yeah! I'm sorry, I'm stupid.
You're not stupid.
You are not stupid. We just went over this. Come here.
Listen. I can do it, you can't.
No, we're both short. Those rules don't work on me.
What does being short have to do with anything? Wait a minute. Go ahead.
You're tall. You
yeah,
wouldn't
I don't know
understand.
how to use that.
So
you click.
One, yeah, go ahead.
You click on it, and you'll see the D4, D6, D8.
Oh, those aren't popping up.
Oh, it's not?
No, I got the beyond 20 quick settings that are popping up.
Oh, okay.
On the left side of the screen.
Oh,
Yeah.
that.
The one at the bottom that says, if you hover over it, it says dice.
I
Yeah.
rolled a 1.
She rolled a 1.
Vanity helped.
Vanity helped.
Get it.
Out of character, I
Yeah.
think I know what Tyler was saying, but I'm in character. Intelligence not that strong suit.
Does not mean you can't help.
Oh,
Especially
that's
since,
soup.
especially since Jack of all trades is very useful. I was about to say that you can roll it again with the D8 if you wanted.
Okay.
I just wanted to help you find the D8 first. Roll the
So,
intelligence check.
okay.
So, with a
And
19,
then the D8. Okay.
these are measurements. And going from one into the other, you would presume that that is basically just moving over, like, the little dot you see. And if that's meant to indicate something, you would presume that it is someone wrote down how tall they at least assume she was.
Someone's trying to guess her height. But I don't understand these forms of measurement.
Can I have a look?
Yeah, come on over. But you're not allowed to touch it, because I'm not allowed to touch it.
Don't try it. Just staring at him.
You said I'm not allowed to touch it, correct?
I think we are all not allowed to touch it.
You are not allowed to touch it with your hand, with your weapon, or with any extra limb or object or animal you may have on hand. So put away the sword.
Actually, may I try something?
He's
Sure.
looking.
Before saying anything, he just kind of moves his fingers around, and a see-through purple hand just kind of goes in front of.
That counts as an object. Put it away.
Serenity. Serenity. It's
Hmm?
not booby trapped. It's not weighted. There isn't any magic lace to it. It is just a figurine in honor of Lady Death.
Magic won't detect traps, but alright.
Would
No,
you
I
like
can-
me?
I have.
Would you
I
like
have
one of us to check for traps? We can do that too.
I thought that was part of what Artemis checked for, because she was just
She didn't
told
check
they
for
weren't
anything.
traps.
I told you that
Oh.
that's what you saw. I didn't say there weren't any traps.
Okay.
Can
Okay, never
I
mind then.
can roll. Can I check for traps?
Go ahead.
I'll
It is which thing
Intelligence.
on
Investigation.
intelligence?
Investigation.
Investigation. Okay.
Yeah. Unless you have thieves.
I'll
What
see
are you
it.
going to say? Yep.
I have
Oh.
thieves' tools.
Thieves' tools investigation. What are you saying, Aurelius?
I'll see if I can decipher the measurements.
Let's say roll a intelligence
And-
check.
Just straight intelligence.
Yep.
Confirming. All right.
Yep.
Those sure are measurements.
You're not certain either. It doesn't help that the numbers look to be written in a way that your brain's just like, it's probably it's not a give me a moment.
Okay.
You're
So is it,
good.
is it like when you're trying to read in a dream, but it's just not possible?
Slides right off. Yes.
Okay. No, he's probably clever enough to pick up on that. I'm gonna do an Arcana check.
Sure. While you're doing that, Vanity, are you proficient in investigation?
Yes, I no, but I said I had thieves' tools.
You are, but you not being proficient in them means that
With thieves' tools?
with investigation,
Investigation, no.
which means that there is another +2 to your check. at least, because of the fact that Jack of all trades
Jack
adds
of all
1,
trades.
and then another
That
2.
was with the jack of all trades stuff
Correct,
activated, huh?
but you are proficient with these tools.
Yes.
So there's another +2 because it's half rounded down.
Oh, okay. So it's just your normal roll, and then add 2 on top of that. With
Correct.
you know,
So you actually got a
from D&D
16.
Beyond. Okay.
That is what Vanity got. Vanity got a 16. That makes
Okay.
sense?
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to your Arcana check in a moment.
No, don't worry. I was trying to help.
You're good. You're able to notice that there is a thin thread that is coming out of the bottom of it. If you were to cut that thread, you would prevent any trap, you would prevent this trap from going off, which looks to be, if it is pulled, it'll do something. You guess it would be that it would be like tugging on the dinner bell almost. Potentially an actual bell is hidden underneath some of the fungal growth here.
So, upon seeing the thread, the mage hand disappears and Vanity pulls a dagger from his belt and goes, 1 second before anyone touches, and slices the thread.
I'm sorry. All I could immediately think was, uh-huh!
That does mean that the trap is disarmed and you can take it without repercussion.
Go ahead, RD.
Artemis will lift it and hand it to Aurelius. Because he wanted to take a closer look.
So you take a look over it. And as you look it over, you realize that there is a slight allusion to the numbers. And it looks to be an arrow pointing towards the base. And as you kind of tilt it back to look at it, you realize that there are measurements written on the bottom. These ones look to be carved much more recently, a lot more clearly. And they look to be very clearly indications of the height, presumed weight, and what abyss level Sugtamoy is on. At least the name of it.
Aurelius will explicitly state, I can't exactly confirm or deny, but it seems like some kind of compass or beacon directing one towards our demonic friend.
Oh, goody.
It's just a theory. I can't confirm right now, but from what I'm looking at, it seems the most likely.
Gods be wrong.
Unfortunately, I don't think I am. But a second pair of eyes on this wouldn't hurt.
I have not the eyes for that. She looks to Artemis.
Aurelius was probably already in the process of handing it off to Artemis.
Artemis will take a look.
Looking over, it appears to, again, you look at it, make the Arcana check.
Arkuwu.
What?
Arkuwu check.
I think I just had a stroke.
14.
With the 14, you can see just faintly through the illusions that are on the back. As you kind of look it over, you can follow it. On the bottom, you can read the same indications. Height, weight. And for you, the name isn't the Layer of Abyss.
What is it?
The Lady of Death's palisade, if you will, or palace, just rather. Within the ever-growing forest, as it's referred to, although it's also referred to as the putrid growth.
It leads straight down to Lady Death's palace. Putrid growth. Interesting. And she looks like she's actually taken some... There's actual caution that is actually starting to come across her features now.
Vanity is currently BRB. My apologies.
What more does she know about Lady Death's palace and the future growth and all that jazz?
The bit that you know is that the palace is where the bridesmaids will eventually be, where one who has died will become either the bouquet or clothing of the bridesmaids, or where one will become lucky enough to become one of her bridesmaids themselves. Although there are a few who are said to become groomsmen, which are also referred to as pruning men, to prune and pluck out what is unnecessary.
Ew.
I know, right?
How do people become bridesmaids?
A certain devotion and self-sacrifice. Often they will be people who will willingly allow themselves to be carved into and planted with seeds of her bounty. Although some of those people will do that while still alive and have it growing within them until such time that they become a bridesmaid. Oh no, I'm sorry. It's apparently just been a bit, and she's stepping back for a bit. Darn it.
Okay.
But yes, that is technically how one becomes a bridesmaid.
Or should be the smart ass and go, how does one become a bridesmaid? By being invited to be a bridesmaid. It was way too strong. I'm so sorry, Kendall.
You're good. There's just
I don't like this.
an abundance of caution as she handles the thing. And then slowly sets it back down.
You set it back down. I imagine you take a step back.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I'm hyperfixating on the wrong specifics of this. But is this an actual bouquet?
No, this is a mini statue.
Okay.
It has been a statue the whole time. The bouquet and stuff is religious iconography that Artemis
It's
is remembering.
metaphorical.
Yes. Which Serenity, since you're kind of looking around, make a perception check.
Oh, God. Why?
I want you to.
You're cruel.
And unusual.
I got a 21.
With a 21, you note two things. One, that as you're looking at the humanoid pinned up to the wall, there's a lot of growth and such across their body, but there's parts to it that looks like part of them was peeled off of them. Strips of skin, specifically.
Hold on.
You're getting a message. Okay, of course. The other thing that you can hear is something kind of squishy sounding.
Where?
Outside the room, outside the door. I don't imagine you stick your head out the door.
Bean poke its head out the door since that's a lot more inconspicuous.
Sure, you can have Bean Beans peek their head out the door, looking through through their eyes.
Yeah.
Okay. You have Bean Bean peek out. Bean Bean peeks out. And again, you can through their senses, you can still distinctly hear the sound like something wet being squished down as what appears to be a fungal covered flayed skinned zombie kind of just wanders around, the squelching just being what little bit of moisture is still in it, or perhaps stepping on the mushrooms at its feet as it walks around a corner. Its breath seems to exhale faintly something sporous, it's likely growing within the rib cage, although you can see into the rib cage as most of the lower torso has been removed and placed with more fungus that is being almost using its pelvis like it's a feeder for fungal growth that is using the spine to climb up towards the rib cage and such.
Just hear Serenity just go, oh, There's a zombie outside.
Oh, what? Okay,
A mushroom one, specifically.
is it hostile?
Currently, I don't think it knows we're here.
Do you think it will be hostile?
I mean, it's still a flesh-eating creature. It's just mushroom-based.
Do you think there's more than one?
Most likely. I can only see the one. You notice, like, as she's talking to you, she's not looking at you. She's, like, looking off somewhere to your left.
Artemis is going to get a closer look at the offering on the wall to see if there are any signs of this zombifying process happening.
Looking at it, you would guess based off of the way the fungus is currently hung on the wall, that this is likely an offering and would only zombify if it were given command to do so. Meaning that it would still require necromantic magic, and there's no strings coming off it, so there's none of that necromantic energy. It does look like we're going to be pulling out session a little bit early. It looks like half the party is dropping.
Okay.
But that means that
my brain's going.
Your brain
so
is also going.
Yeah.
Brain go mush.
This is a far shorter session than we normally have, and I understandably it looks like the headspace kind of just dropped suddenly. Probably real life stuff going on, and we respect that sometimes people have stuff they need to take care of, and that is more important than session. So I will wrap up the recording part of this. I'll make sure it's posted, all the same stuff. Next week we'll see about starting back up with the
zombie preambling down the hallway.
Yes. I will also mention one other thing, which I will try and remember to mention again next week. When it doesn't turn to look, but when it shifts a bit, it's like the torso shifts without the lower half turning, and where its eyes are, there's more fungus.
Ew.
This thing likely cannot see just based off of that because of your 21. So that'll be something to potentially utilize or potentially not, depending on how things go. We'll see next week. For those who are with us, I apologize that this is so short. Normally we do take a bit more time to do stuff, but sometimes things happen, and we respect the fact that sometimes people need to take some time to themselves to take care of that issue. And hopefully the mush brain doesn't feel too bad for you.
Oh, no, I'm good. And it's mostly daylight savings.
It messes with everyone, yeah.
It stole my sleep, so that's what I'm currently blaming. I'm just very tired. Work was a lot today.
It stole my sleep.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But for those who are here, thank you all so much. We do post these onto my channel, YouTube/Uncommon Guru, where we have 65 episodes up, which is an absolute massive amount, which I'm very grateful to have been the DM for this group to be able to do all that. Hopefully we'll be able to continue to do that, and with you all here to enjoy it with us. For those who are on YouTube, we do stream this at twitch.tv/WhatTeamComp. Generally we go for about another hour and a half longer depending upon, but this week just stuff has happened, and that's completely okay. We're going to take care of each other, and we're going to take care of ourselves. We hope you will take care of yourself as well, so that you can have a good week. Hopefully daylight savings time isn't kicking you as much as it's kicking us, because daylight savings time, spring forward always is just right?
God, don't talk to me. This shit hurts.
Yeah. But until next time, we're WhatTeamComp. You're all amazing. We'll see you all next time. Bye-bye!
Oh my.
Bye.